I never considered myself a paranoid person. Sure, I had my moments of suspicion, but nothing that ever spiraled into full-blown conspiracy theories. That changed the day I returned from a weekend trip and found something that would haunt me for weeks. My boyfriend Matt had to work, so he stayed behind while I went out of town to visit some friends. When I got back, something felt off. It wasn't anything obvious, no strange perfume, no missing items, no weird messages, but I've always trusted my gut, and my gut was screaming at me that something was wrong. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe I was just being weird after spending a weekend away. But then I noticed Matt seemed tense, distracted, almost as if he was watching me closely to gauge my reactions. I caught him glancing at me too often, as if waiting for me to say something. The feeling gnawed at me until, in a moment of impulsivity, I grabbed his iPad while he was in the shower. His devices were all synced, so I figured if there was anything unusual, I'd find it there. I wish I hadn't looked. In his recently deleted folder, I found several pictures, all taken within the past couple of days. At first, they seemed normal photos of our bedroom, our dresser, my side of the bed. But then I looked closer. These weren't random snapshots. They were deliberate. My nightstand, with my book, my medication, my melatonin. A printed photo of my brother and me next to a handwritten note I had stuck on the fridge. A close-up of my desk, exactly how I had left it. My blood ran cold. I felt like I was in a psychological thriller where the protagonist realizes too late that they've been living with a stranger. Why would he take pictures of those specific things? They weren't valuable. They weren't anything unusual. The only explanation I could come up with was one I didn't want to believe he took them so he could put things back exactly as they were after moving them. After what? Had he hidden something? Had someone else been here? Was he planning something worse? I didn't know how to react, so I just acted normal. But that night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, my mind swirled with possibilities. Was I overreacting? Maybe. But the alternative that something sinister had happened in my absence was too terrifying to ignore. The next morning, I started looking for answers. I subtly checked my belongings. My clothes were all accounted for. My jewelry was untouched. But then I noticed something strange. The bedsheets smelled off, like an unfamiliar detergent. We always use the same brand, and this wasn't it. That's when I checked the laundry bin. Buried under some of his work clothes were our sheets freshly washed. He had never done that before, ever. I confronted him that night. I casually mentioned that the bed smelled different. His response was immediate and defensive. Oh, I just washed them because they were getting kinda gross. Matt never cared about stuff like that. My heart pounded. That's thoughtful. But why now? He shrugged. Just felt like it. That's when I decided to push a little harder. You know, I was looking through your iPad today, found some pictures in the deleted folder. His entire body stiffened. What pictures? You tell me. He forced a laugh. You're being weird. So why did you take them? His face twitched just for a second. You was thinking of reorganizing some stuff, wanted to remember where everything was. Bullshit. I felt sick, but I wasn't ready to push further, not yet. I needed more proof. That night when he was asleep, I took his phone and checked his call logs. Nothing unusual, but then I went to his Uber history. My stomach dropped. There was a trip taken at 1:47 a.m. 2 nights ago from our apartment to an address I didn't recognize. I copied the address into Google Maps. It was a hotel. My hands were shaking. I clicked on the trip details. He hadn't returned in another Uber, meaning he had spent the night. I wanted to vomit. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I casually asked, "Did you go anywhere while I was gone?" His eyes darted up. Just work." Why? Liar. Nowhere else, I pressed. He gave me a confused look. No? Why are you asking me this? My blood boiled, because I know you went to a hotel at 1:47 a.m. His face went white, then red, then white again. I what? I grabbed my phone and held up the screenshot. Explain, now. For a moment, he just stared at it. Then the lies started. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? I just needed to clear my head. I was stressed and I didn't want to be alone here. So you went to a hotel instead of, I don't know, literally anywhere else? I didn't do anything. I just needed space. You needed space at a hotel at 2 a.m. after taking pictures of all my stuff? He had no answer. I packed my bags that day. I didn't even wait for more explanations. I didn't need them. The truth was clear. Whatever had happened while I was gone was something he didn't want me to know about. And I wasn't going to stick around to find out the hard way. As I walked out the door, he finally broke down. I made a mistake. Please don't go. I turned back one last time. You made more than one. And then I left. I still don't know what happened in my apartment that weekend. I don't know who was there, what was moved, or why he needed those pictures. But I do know that I dodged a bullet. And I will never, ever ignore my gut again. 14F don't want to sound dramatic, but I think my mom's new boyfriend is watching me, and no one believes me. My mom has always been the type to date around. She's had some real losers in the past, guys who used her for money, guys who treated her badly, and a few who just gave me the creeps. But this guy? He's different. At least, that's what she keeps telling me. Let's call him Dan. He's a former cop, early 40s, and super charming. The type who brings flowers, helps with groceries, and acts like the perfect gentleman. I admit, compared to the guys before him, he seemed decent. He's been sleeping over at our house for about a week now, and while I wasn't thrilled about it, I figured it wasn't my place to say anything. The problem started a few nights ago. We only have one working shower in the house, me mom's ensuite bathroom. Our other bathroom has been broken since we moved in 2 years ago, and we don't have the money to fix it. Because of that, I have to shower in my mom's room. She has this rule about not locking the door while showering, in case someone slips and needs help. I never liked it, but I followed the rule because I didn't want to argue. That night, I was washing my hair when I heard a noise. At first, I thought it was just the pipes creaking, but then something made me turn around. My stomach dropped. The bathroom door was slightly cracked open, and I saw eyes watching me. For a split second, I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. Then, as quickly as I saw it, the door shut. Fast, like whoever was there hadn't meant to get caught. I stood there, my body completely frozen. I knew what I saw. It wasn't a shadow or my imagination. Someone had been there. I rushed to finish my shower, dressed in record time, and stormed out of the bathroom. My mind was spinning, my hands shaking. I found Dan sitting in the living room, casually scrolling on his phone like nothing had happened. I confronted him immediately. His reaction? Total denial. He looked offended, even hurt. "Are you serious? You think I'd do that?" he said, shaking his head. "I'm not stupid. I'm an ex-cop. Why would I throw away my entire life for something like that?" He said he had heard a loud noise and wanted to check if I was okay, but I hadn't made a noise. And why peek? Why not just call out to ask if I was all right? My mom came into the room as we were talking. When I told her what happened, she got defensive for him. "Sweetheart, you must have imagined it," she said. "Dan would never do something like that. He's been nothing but kind to us." I was floored. Was I crazy? Did I imagine it? No, I knew what I saw. I felt sick. The next night, I didn't shower. Or the night after that. I started locking my bedroom door when I slept. Every time I heard footsteps in the hallway, my stomach twisted into knots. Then something even stranger happened. A few days later, I noticed my bedroom door was slightly ajar when I woke up. I always locked it before bed. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I checked my phone, hoping to see a notification, maybe a message I forgot to read, anything to distract me from the growing pit in my stomach. And that's when I saw it. A new note had been added in my phone's notepad app. I opened it, my fingers trembling. It said, "You should really be more careful." That's it. Nothing else. No explanation. I didn't write it. I knew I didn't. My blood ran cold. Someone had been in my room. Someone had been in my phone. I ran to my mom and told her everything. The cracked bathroom door, the note, the fact that my bedroom had been opened in the middle of the night. But she wouldn't hear it. She sighed. Sighed, like I was annoying her. "Honey, I think you're just looking for reasons to dislike Dan," she said. "I get it, you don't want me dating, but this is ridiculous." I wanted to scream. How could she be so blind? So trusting? That night, I barely slept. I kept my phone under my pillow and my dresser pushed up against the door. I was on edge, waiting for something to happen, and then it did. Around 2 a.m., I heard soft creaks outside my door, not just a single footstep pacing. I held my breath, my heart pounding. Then the doorknob jiggled. Someone was testing it, trying to see if it was locked. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just clutched my phone and waited. Then, after what felt like an eternity, the footsteps retreated. I heard my mom's bedroom door shut. That was it. I wasn't waiting around anymore. The next morning, I told my mom I was going to stay at my best friend's house for the weekend. She barely batted an eye. As soon as I got there, I told my friend everything. Her parents overheard, and her dad, who is a real cop, immediately took me seriously. He asked me to show him the note on my phone. When I opened my notepad, it was gone, deleted. I was shaking. I hadn't deleted it. That was the final straw. My friend's dad made some calls, and within a few hours, an officer came to take my statement. I don't know what will happen next, but I do know one thing. I'm not going back there. My mom is furious. She says I'm ruining her relationship and that I'm being dramatic. Dan, of course, is acting all innocent, saying he doesn't know why I'm doing this to him, but I don't care anymore. I know what I saw, I know what I felt, and I know I'm not safe with him there. As of right now, I'm staying with my friend's family. The police are looking into Dan's background, and my biggest hope? That my mom wakes up before it's too late. I don't care if no one believes me. I believe me. And that's enough. My boyfriend, 31M, and I, 26F, have been dating for 7 months. He say he's serious about me and sees me as the person he wants to eventually marry. He stated that he wants to marry and settle down in the next 2 to 3 years. But before he gets married, he has a bucket list. Most things on this bucket list seem harmless except for one: threesome. While I am not completely against it, I've had one myself while I wasn't dating anyone. He knows about it. It made me feel uncomfortable that he wanted to do this. During the first time he mentioned this, I was thrown back, and then he mentioned it the second time, which made me more uncomfortable. He brought up the topic again 2 more times. I confronted him, and he mentioned that the first 2 times, he asked me to join, but the 3rd and 4th times, it was just letting me know that he's going to do it. He promises that this is just a bucket list thing, and he'll get over it once it's done. Also, he said that he never really thought of settling down until he met me, so he always thought he had some time to get to it. I broke up with him today because I was losing my sleep and peace of mind over thinking about who he may be with, and I've lost trust I had. Am I overreacting for breaking up with him over wanting to sleep with other girls as a part of his bucket list? While I can understand the urge to try, his behavior is what put me off the most. He was going to do it and didn't really care about whether I felt comfortable or not. Edit 1. I asked him how he would feel about MMF, MFM, and he shut the idea down. Edit 2. He brought this up for the first time when I wasn't sure if he was serious about the relationship or not. I said I was uncomfortable at that time as I said that I did have feelings. He said he had feelings too. I questioned a lot of things at that time, including how serious he was about us, and he said he wanted to be with me. He didn't bring it up again, and I assumed he had respected my boundaries. This was the time I really started seeing him as my partner and maybe think of settling down. He's mentioning marriage only in the last month, and he mentioned the threesome again last week, to which I've broken up now. Edit 3. The threesome I had was when I was single, and all 3 were single. We were drunk and it wasn't planned. I didn't like it as much since it felt a bit forced while we were drunk and the dynamics was off. We never saw each other after that day. Edit 4. The first time he mentioned it, it stayed with me for really long. I rejected it the first time because I felt like since I wanted us to be something more serious, bringing another person in the loop could cause a shift and end the relationship. I had it in my mind that once I was more confident in us and the relationship, I wouldn't mind a threesome. But two things threw me off that idea. He not agreeing to me having an MMF, MFM, and him telling me that he's going to have a threesome whether I like it or not. My 26F boyfriend, 26M, is by all accounts an amazing boyfriend. My family loves him. I love him. He brings home sweet treats. He's caring. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And 99% of the time, we get along great. We've been together for almost 9 years. But that 1% of our relationship that causes issues feels significant. There are things that matter to me that doesn't matter to him that he tends to brush off, and when I try to discuss them, he often makes me feel like I'm crazy and overreacting about small things. For example, I recently received a work award, and the ceremony was fully paid for both of us, including flights and accommodation. It involved 3 back-to-back event days, and being punctual for work-related events is very important to me. I informed him 3 hours in advance of when we needed to leave, taking that time to prepare. In contrast, he would wait until just 5 minutes before we needed to depart to start getting ready.